Hey guys, what's up? This is K6 Scope. Welcome back to more Pokemon Colosseum Purification Narration. In the last two episodes, we purified some of our weaker dudes, and in this episode, I'm actually going to be explaining a lot of information about purifying and how to make it a million times easier on yourself. So, first things first, the most important thing when purifying Pokemon, if you want to do it the quickest or the most efficient way, is knowing a Pokemon's nature. Now, as you can see by checking Gligar here, who's a Pokemon we just got in the last episode, which would have been episode 25, I believe, of Pokemon Colosseum, you can find out that when you first get a Pokemon under its nature, it will actually not tell you. Where is its nature? Yeah, down there at the bottom, you see where it says where we caught it. It will have question mark nature. It won't tell you. Now, depending on what nature the Pokemon is, that actually determines what you can do that will work the best on that Pokemon to purify it. But you may ask, well, what the heck? I mean, that doesn't do me much good because I don't know the nature. Well, to figure out the nature of the Shadow Pokemon, all you have to do is raise its heart gauge 2 bars. Once it passes the second bar, its nature will be revealed. So you may say, well, if I already, reached it 2 bars, then what's the point? Well, I have a simple solution for you of how to raise the Pokemon's gauge 2 bars without wasting any money whatsoever. So the best way to do that is, first thing you want to do is save your game. Now, I just turned the game on, so I'm already good because I can rely on that save point. You can also do this without resetting the game and just use your money, but I don't recommend it. So first thing you want to do is pick up the cologne case. I already showed how to do that. The chick over by the waterfall will give it to you for free. And then what you want to do is come to the store here, and you have these scents. Now, this is a scent that slightly pleases Pokemon, that pleases Pokemon, and that greatly pleases Pokemon. So what you're going to want to do is buy a few vivid scents, depending on how much money you have. I'm just going to pick up 5 for now. $6,000, it's not that bad. So, and basically what these vivid scents do is they will raise the Pokemon's heart gauge, a Shadow Pokemon's heart gauge. That's what it will do. And if it's on a regular Pokemon, it will just increase their relationship level, whatever. But on Shadow Pokemon, what it does is it will raise their... it will raise I think we have to go into our cologne case here. Yes. And that will actually raise the Pokemon's heart gauge. Now, depending on the nature of the Pokemon, it will raise their gauge more or less. But as of right now, we don't know the Pokemon nature, so that doesn't do any good. So what we'll do is we'll use the Vivid Scent on Gligar. Massage Gligar using a Vivid Scent. And it's going to vibrate your controller. Gligar was delighted. The door to Gligar's heart opened up a lot. Alright, so it's going to give you a message there, and depending on the message, that's going to tell you how much the door to their heart opened up. So as you can see on our summary now, it said it opened up a lot, but as you can see, it really didn't open up that much. Now, these scents, even if they work great, depending on the Pokemon's nature, they won't open that much. Pretty much, depending on the nature, if a Pokemon's really responds to scents, it'll take about 10 to fully purify a Pokemon from nothing. 10 vivid scents. So what you want to do is just keep using it on the Pokemon you're trying to figure out the nature of, and use as many as you have to. Spend all your money if you have to. Trust me, you'll get it all back. And just keep doing it until the Pokemon's bar is enough past 2 to where it will reveal. Whoops, no, I did that on the wrong Pokemon. Oh my god. Like I said, it doesn't matter. Money is no object right now. Lowfoot was delighted. That's great. So, use it on Gligar here. Because the trick, what we're going to do is that once you use all the Vivid Scents and figure out the Pokemon's nature, say it's adamant, you'll see the adamant nature. Then what you do is you go and reset the game so that it goes back to your previous save point before you bought the Vivid Scents, so you will have all your money back. But the nature of the Pokemon is still going to be the same. You're still going to know that it's adamant, but the game just still hasn't revealed it to you yet, but it still is adamant. It still counts. It's still there. So, now that you know it's adamant, you will be able to employ the same strategies without wasting any money. Of course, if money is no object to you, you could just use this and keep its heart gauge raised. So as you can see now, we just got him past 2 bars. It took 4 Vivid Scents to get him there. So as you can see now, he's docile natured. So now that we figured out how to figure out the natures of Shadow Pokemon, depending on their nature, we can now figure out the best way to purify them. So, I'm going to look at this table here on GameFAQs. I'll put a link in the description if you guys want to see it. But basically what this table does is it tells you for each Pokemon, each Pokemon nature the best ways to purify them and what ways are, good and bad and very good and etc, etc. So pretty much there's... Oh shit, I just knocked my Wii over. Damn it. That's what I get for using the short GameCube cord, right? Okay. I'll put that back on later. Did that break? Doesn't look like it. Okay. So, there are basically 5 methods to purify a Pokemon. There's actually 6, but the 6th one doesn't count, you'll see. So the first one is participating in battle, aka sending it out in battle. The second method is calling it from Hyper Mode, as we know. The third is just walking around with the Pokemon in your party. We also know this. The fourth method is leaving it at a daycare in a gate village. We know about this, but we haven't used it yet. And the fifth method is using Cologne, like we just did, the Vivid Scent. Now the sixth method, which doesn't count, is the Time Flute, because obviously the Time Flute will purify any Pokemon no matter what, and those are very rare, so that doesn't really factor it in. So of the 5 methods, this table here will tell you which methods are bad, good, average, very good, and I believe those are the only rankings. So, oh no, there's very bad, bad, average, good, and very good. So, for Gligar, for example, he's docile nature. So I'm going to go down the list and check docile. Now, docile, method 1 is bad, which is participating in battle. So that doesn't work very well at all, and we saw that when I sent him out a few episodes ago. It didn't really raise his gauge at all. Now, method 2 is very good, which is calling it back from Hyper Mode. So if we can get him in Hyper Mode in a battle, he will gain back a lot on his gauge, like huge amounts. That's probably the best method for him. So let's check the rest. Method 3 is average, which is walking around with them in your party, so that'll work pretty good. Method 4, which is leaving it at the daycare, is good, so that's the very next best thing you can do. Am I still on docile? Oh no! I read the wrong line there. Sorry. Method 4 is bad, so leaving it in the daycare isn't going to do very good for docile Gligar. And method 5 is average, which is using Cologne. So as you saw when I used the Cologne, it did alright, but it didn't do as good as it could do. So, for Gligar particularly, what we would want to do is send him out in battle, use Shadow Rush at any expense possible, and get him to get him to Hyper Mode and then call him back, and that will work the best. So that's pretty much what you gotta do, and you can do that for every Pokemon, and that's your best bet. Now, what I'm also going to do here now is in a gate village, there is a special trick you can do to purify Shadow Pokemon quickly. It's actually not quickly, but it's the easiest possible way. It's kind of a little trick, a little glitch we're going to utilize here, so I'll show you. This trick requires leaving your system on, leaving your controller alone with like a rubber band or something. So it might damage your controller or something, so, I would recommend not using this if you have any fear of messing up any of your components or anything. But basically what it consists of is, if you'll notice, when you walk against a wall normally, as you can see, if you hold a direction, your character will keep walking. But if you just keep walking like this, if you do an experiment and check if your Pokemon gain any Shadow Gauge from this, then all you'd be able to do is run against a wall like this and just gain experience. Just hold the controller against this direction and you gain experience. Well, guess what? It doesn't work. They kind of programmed that into the game. Now what you want to do is, there's this specific spot in a gate village, this first hill here, and if you run directly at the corner, you'll notice that the screen starts shaking. Now when the screen starts shaking, what it means is that it's still counting as walking because the screen is shaking. It's counting you going in 2 different directions, whatever. So basically you hold down and it'll keep doing this. Now you'll notice if you do an experiment with this, and you check, it will actually work on your Pokemon, and they will lose, or they'll gain room on their shadow gauges. So basically what you could do is you could do this and then rubber band your controller in the down position, or just watch a TV show while you hold it in the down position, and your Pokemon will slowly be purified. So what you can do is go put 6 Shadow Pokemon in your party and do this. Now it will take, for a Pokemon that has a very bad rating in the walking around with it in your party status, this can take up to 5 hours to fully purify it. Now if it's very good, it will only take about 1 hour. So I would recommend checking your Pokemon's natures, seeing the ones that are good with walking around, and put 6 of those in your party if you have them, and then try this. Also, a lot of you may know, who play games a lot, are familiar with it. If you plug in a controller when holding a certain direction, the controller will glitch, and when you start playing that game, the game will start automatically moving you in the opposite direction. So if you were holding down left and you plugged in the controller, when you turn on the game, your character is going to start automatically moving right, even though you're not pressing anything. So you're like, oh, damn it, and then you got to unplug your controller, plug it back in, or, you know, turn the system off, whatever. You can actually utilize this glitch. What you can do is turn the system on and plug your controller in holding the up direction, so that when you start playing it, he'll automatically walk in the down direction, and then you just move yourself over to this area, and he will automatically do this, and then you can just set the controller down and let it work its magic. Now, this trick is not the best method for purifying. It's not the fastest method by far, but it's simple and it's easy. You don't have to do anything. If you have time to spare, you can leave your system on. You can do this. But like I said, any damage it will do to your system or your controller, possibly, you know, that's on you. So that's up to you if you decide to do that. But otherwise, I personally wouldn't recommend using it. So basically, the first thing you should do when going after purifying shadow Pokemon is get every one of your Pokemon out and do the Vivid Scent trick, where you go get the Vivid, you save, go get the Vivid Scents, figure out the Pokemon's nature, and then write down the nature of the Pokemon, and so you don't forget, and then reset, and then just keep doing that with every Pokemon until you figure out the nature. That way you know everybody's nature and you know what works best with everybody. That way you can, like, say, get all the Pokemon in your party that benefit from walking around, and then just go on a huge walk across Ore, and, you know, in one video we'll have 6 Pokemon purified. Or, you know, get 6 Pokemon out that respond very well to Cologne, and buy, like, you know, 20 Colognes, whatever, and purify a bunch of them. Or get a bunch of Pokemon that do respond well to being called out of Hyper Mode, go in some battles, get into Hyper Mode. That you can do that, and that will save you a lot of time in the long run. So, basically, yeah, I'll link that video in the below, and it tells all the nature and what Pokemon respond well to each thing. So, I know this video has only been 12 minutes long, but what I'm going to do now is, this was kind of just meant to be a, like, FAQ video, like FAQ, frequently asked questions, the best way to purify your shadow Pokemon, and I don't really want to fill this with any other monotonous crap of me purifying. So what we're going to do is we'll leave this video as a standalone video to help you guys figure out how the best way to purify your shadow Pokemon, save you the most time and the most money, in the game at least, you know. But time is money in real life too, so there you go. Oh look, this guy's about to go into the Pokemon Mart. Oh, no he's not. Anyway, so that's all for this Pokemon Colosseum Purification Narration video. I have taught you the best ways to purify your shadow Pokemon, figuring out their natures, etc., etc., and a little trick to purify them if you don't want to sit here and do all this hard work to figure out their natures, and etc., etc. So in the next video, I am going to have all the natures of my Pokemon figured out, written down, and we're going to go start purifying the living ball sack off of all of them. So I will see you guys in the next episode where we go and do just that. Goodbye!